And we are back. And I was going to say good morning, LinkedIn, but of course we are now going out to our new YouTube channel as well. So it's just good morning, data center people. Welcome to DC News Asia from the DC Byte office in Singapore. James, how have you been?
Very well, very well. Daughter born
congratulations.
just a week ago, so pretty sleep deprived. But data center world continues to continue. So no rest. Got to keep it up.
Yeah, I'm more sleep deprived from the trip to Hawaii, but congratulations nonetheless. I'm jealous.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, like I said, we couldn't afford to miss this week. We have maybe a record-breaking week in terms of the number of actual stories worth reporting. 10, I believe. I think we said we would do a news TV news style rundown of events. So here we go very quickly. We're going to be talking about Google EverYondr. We're going to be talking about AdaniConneX in India. We're going to be talking about Maharashtra state announcing a couple of MOUs. We're going to be talking about NTT's plans in India. WebWorks launching a new facility in India. I'm missing number 6 on my notes. That was
YTL.
YTL, yeah.
Nextra.
New developments, another new developments in India. Then we're going to be going to Optage in Japan. Before finishing with a couple of also YTL in Johor. And then we've got a couple of bits of financial information that's come out from a couple of the big players in the last week or so, which we're just going to touch upon and just highlight to people. So, Reese, where are we starting?
We'll start at the top. I guess India seems to be taking all the headlines again, and I think the first story is Google signed the lease agreement in Navi Mumbai. This is the EverYondr site, I guess, and I understand that they're starting development soon with a 2025 completion date. But you've got the details on the lease, I believe.
Well, just for FYI, I'm not the one initially announcing this. I think it's the Business Times of India are pretty liberal in sharing leasing information. But as per the report, 28-year lease, they give us square footage of 35,000 square meters, which I think basically accounts to the entire build. 28-year lease, as I mentioned. So great for EverYondr, obviously, to get in a flagship client like that for that development.
Yeah, I saw the estimated rent they provided when you convert it from crore is $1.1 million a month. So for those who are not always looking at the financial side of this business, for a 28-year lease, let you do your own maths, bearing in mind that will increase over time. But that's the kind of deal values we're talking about. So I guess, congrats to both sides on this. Obviously, Google needing the space, and EverYondr on securing a long-term customer. And Google, actually, they already signed a 10-year lease in Noida with AdaniConneX, and I think they're onto our next story.
Yeah, this is, I think, just worth touching upon. So AdaniConneX, obviously a spin out from the Adani Group company. They've mentioned that they're going to be basically divesting some of their investments over the 2025, 2028 time period. Their data center group was listed within this group. Which is kind of interesting because it's a relatively short time frame, but obviously they've had joy in securing a couple of customers across some of their sites and some of their potential developments as well. So just thought we would mention that quickly.
Yeah, so the CFO statement said that they're going to aim to have 5 data centers up and ready to launch by that point. I'm not sure if that's sites or campuses, but the 2027, 2028, and then that will raise some cash for Adani. No idea on how that will go, whether EdgeConneX will absorb it or whether it will be out to new investors. But it's certainly a development story for them that they'll be profitable by that point.
Maharashtra state. So their team over at Davos in the last 2 weeks or so, whenever it was, they announced that 2 new developments. They announced MOUs for 2 new developments in Pune. So Pune, obviously, home to Microsoft deployments. 2 new companies, so NTT, no surprises here. Obviously, they've got a pretty massive footprint across India. The second one was interesting, Arc Data Center. So Arc Data Centers is certainly they've got assets in the UK. I'm not sure if it's a British fund behind them, but they do have developments in the UK. They were announced as the second MOU. Interestingly, this will be their first foray outside of the UK. It's not on their website or anything like that, so interesting that the Maharashtra state representatives did announce this, but they did. So interesting to see what happens there. And is that tied to Microsoft? Who knows? Let's wait and see. Continuing with India, NTT, again, I don't think this is a massive secret, but they announced plans to spend $3.5 billion over the next 7 years. The report I read most recently on this said 500 million over 7 years. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the way it's going to be deployed, but anyway, it still equates to 3.5 billion. I met with NTT in November, I think it was. When I'm talking about, I've mentioned this previously, they're not talking about individual assets, they're talking about campuses. So I saw the plans for the campus. It all looks very impressive. NTT obviously have got a big presence there. I've got a lot of the big clients already secured. So I no doubt that this will be another massive success. I think the final story on India is, or the second final story, my final story, WebWorks. They've launched their new Navi Mumbai facility, 10 megawatts. Official launch is 31st of January. So was that Monday or Tuesday next week?
Yeah, but this week's DCNA though.
Yes, this week's DCNA. But the official launch is 31st of Jan. This obviously is a tier 3 facility, partners with Iron Mountain. So right now the WebWorks footprint is Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, and they've got further plans for Bangalore and Hyderabad. So this partnership again seems to be going very well.
I met with some of the Iron Mountain guys talking about their upcoming. So I guess this would be the launch that they were getting ready for in India.
Well, they've got assets all over the place now, so yeah, could be other ones. And you have another story as well, Reese, which I actually missed.
Yes, I do. This is YTL. They're the owners of Nextra data centers, and they've announced a new site. So these guys have, I think we've already reported on the site in Chennai and Pune, which is 45 megawatt combined. And they broke ground on their Kolkata site last year. And this is a new 60 megawatts. So this will be their biggest single greenfield project, and it is in Hyderabad. They've announced a 296.8 million is the USD conversion from local currency. That's the investment, and yeah, I think it's said to be ready in the next 2025.
Yeah. So, I was at one of their developments in Mumbai, construction site there. So again, they seem to be doing very well, pretty well established with a lot of the major clients. I think that's India covered.
Oh, okay.
Out of breath.
Take a breather from the India developments. But I mean, congrats to everyone on the ground getting these projects up and running. As a huge market just keeps marching on. We can slow down a bit now and go to YTL.
Yeah, YTL. They announced they had secured a $256 million loan for Maybank/OCBC, which is going to aid in the development of one of their 48 megawatt facilities up in Johor. So YTL obviously have got huge plans up in Johor. We've announced and covered them extensively over the past year or so with their data center, their green data center park, and all the various wins they've had up there, including securing SEA as a anchor tenant for some of the projects up there. So yeah, this is going to help them grow in Johor, which hot on the heels of obviously AirTrunk's announcements last week. So Johor is definitely seeing a lot of development right now.
Well, and related to the AirTrunk one, this loan is a green loan, so it's going to be tied to some of the same frameworks that AirTrunk have committed to in their previous finance raise with Macquarie and others. So I think YTL said that this would be a gold LEED certified building. They've already talked about the solar project that they'll be developing on the same site. So I guess they've now tied some financial strings to that as well. And I think that the loan terms dictate that there'll be different repayments if they don't meet the sustainability standards.
Yes, and I believe it is under Islamic financial principles as well. Which is interesting. I think worth pointing out. I think we're to Japan next, right?
Optage, yes. So
Optage,
this is the tall building in Osaka.
Yes, 14 stories. I want to say this announcement was at.
Yeah, that's what I had down. And this is Optage, as I understand, is a local ISP, and this is their 5th data center, but this sounds like probably the biggest one. Yeah,
so Optage, maybe not so much of a brand name, but this is their fifth facility. They're fully owned by the Kansai Energy Group, or I may have got that name wrong, but they've had several rebrands over the last decade or so. So I think that's maybe why the Optage brand may not
This makes sense because I saw this
Immediately resonate.
Kansai Electrical Power Company. But
Yeah, Kansai Electrical Company. Yeah, so they're fully owned by Kansai Electrical Company. This is in the Higashi Umeda area. I'm sure I've said that wrong, but people will figure it out. Going to be launching January 2026. They're going to be getting. It was a bit vague on this, but renewable energy credits or certification.
Yeah.
Through the Kansai Electric Company. Interestingly, I believe this is where Equinix first deployed in Osaka when the company was called K Opticon.
So this is in the downtown Osaka kind of location, then, not in some of the new suburb developments we've seen.
I didn't actually check.
I'm just guessing based on the on the Equinix and the tall building, but we're not going to edit that out. That's not our style. But
we'll figure it out. I'll have more info in a couple of months. Myself and Jingwen are doing Tokyo and Osaka in mid-March. Haven't really started organizing meetings yet, but we will soon. And Optage are one of the ones on our list to go see and get the lowdown from. But yeah, like I said, fifth development, and I think are we finishing on the financials?
Yeah, there was the two stories, wasn't there? It was I guess three. Okay, well, I only had Vantage. So Vantage have released some of their financial figures. Obviously, a bit of a press fanfare, but they recorded some unprecedented growth for last year, which broke their 2021 previous record. I think the headlines in terms of numbers were 13 data centers opened and $3 billion of equity finance raised. In an Asia context, that really just refers to the acquisition of the PCCW sites. So the listed open data centers were Sabajaya and Hong Kong, which I guess were open, but they're now Vantage data centers, and then they've opened several new facilities around the world as well. Yeah,
so I thought that was worth mentioning. We'll give the link in the section below. This came out 8 days ago or 7-8 days ago. A couple of reports on this, so broken record on this story. Global Switch. The latest reports are this seems to have stalled bids, etc., from the big players. Apparently, were lower than what the current owners of Global Switch were expecting. So I think we keep saying this with this story, but we need to keep an eye on this because it's not clear what's going to happen. In the short term, I don't think anyone got close to the 10 billion valuation that they were looking for. And then the final thing with it, which I think is just worth touching on in a data center context, is Microsoft obviously released their results. While most elements of the business was down, the cloud business was 22% up year on year, and one of the bright spots in an otherwise, I think, slightly disappointing quarterly review for them. Revenues up to $27.1 billion. So talk about when people talk about cloud being big business, I think that number kind of speaks to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, similar. I think we haven't seen this quarter's, but look at the last couple of quarterlies from Amazon as well, and we see AWS's share of profitability is climbing within the business. And in fact, Google, I think they also said that they're expecting theirs to be showing profitability from a standing start only a few years ago pretty soon. So yeah, cautiously optimistic for the continued demand for data centers, I think would be the best way to describe it.
I'm not cautious, I'm buoyant. Cool. Well, I think that's everything for the week. Sorry I didn't go into as much detail as we might usually do, but like I said, there's 10 stories and LinkedIn only lets you have 15 minutes, so we need to be succinct this week.
We're cutting that fine. Those of you still with us, do hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. That will enable you to actually get the videos. LinkedIn, we found, is a great platform for reaching, and that's where most of our clients are. But actually, people who want to watch the news and want to watch the videos, LinkedIn doesn't really order them very well. So if you hit the subscribe button on the YouTube, you'll get the news every week. Keep you up to date on data centers across Asia.
What Reese said. Yeah, thanks to everyone. Thanks for watching, and see you next week, right?
Yeah, happy Friday.
Yeah, cheers. Happy Friday, everyone. See you.